welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a nice day. I want to thank my old subscribers, my new subscribers and my recent subscribers to come into my channel. I can't thank you enough. And also, if you come across anything on my channel, anything, there's a mixed bag here. We have my honest conversation series, we have loads of shorts where I do taste tests, and it's just a lot of things really on this channel, you know, to appeal to a wide audience who like different things. So yeah, if that's something for you and you think, oh, Kerry's channel is cool, there's a wee green subscribe button below. If you press that, you get all my content coming to you once a week whenever I upload. And also, when you subscribe, I have this brilliant community tab where I interact with you all, give you BTS, do polls, and just generally drop in like, howdy. But yeah, if that's something for you, click that wee green subscribe button below, and I hope to see you at my community tab. I'm going to dive into this vlog, and it's basically called I Grew Up Poor, Here's What People Don't Understand. FYI, Dad, if you're watching, I'm not here to slate you, I'm just going to give you my experience, what it instilled in me, the regrets, and life lessons and things like that. So let's get on with it, shall we? So I'm just gonna get on with it, and obviously you know part of my life stories now, with many vlogs and many things that, you know, my deepest, darkest traumas, everything like this. And I am gonna be honest, blunt, blatant, unfiltered as per, and so many things. And yeah, so let's get on with it. So basically, as a Wayne, as a kid, I was living with my dad and my mum at the time, my brothers, and at the time when my dad was in the army, we did have a semi-cushy life and we had money coming in, and why we didn't need to go to Spain on holiday or anywhere like that. We went to the Norfolk Broads and we did many things, and I had very fond, good memories. My dad was in the army. I have some photos of him. This is my dad. I think he was like 16. I hope you don't mind me showing this, Dad. But there's, I don't know if you can see, it's not really because of the light. But my dad is that one there. There he is. And this is my dad when he was in Beirut in '83 with his friends. I'm sorry the light is, but my dad is like basically there and that. But yeah, and my dad worked as a chef in Buckingham Palace, all that lot. My dad has many stories. Obviously he has the bad stories. I had all his PTSD from Beirut, whatever. But you know, we lived a very nice life at that time. But obviously, let's go down the timeline. And my mother fucks off, the thing that happened to me. And you know, my dad became a single parent to 3 kids. And you know, most dads probably do or don't, I don't know, but my dad decided to step up and go, okay, right. He got left to debt by my mum as well. And you know, my dad didn't have to, you know, as most dads do. Some won't want to step up after all that happened, but my dad did. And you know, my dad had to leave the army and everything like that because he had to bring us up, 3 kids on his own. And yes, while he was on benefits for so many decades, we did struggle. Obviously when you lived in a village like I did, we didn't have the brands, we didn't have anything like that, and I was ridiculed and got the piss taken out of me because I didn't have this, because I didn't have that. And as you know, if bullying goes, it's shit. And for me, I took all that and the bullying and everything else is out on my dad, even though I didn't understand the concept of money at that time, and I didn't understand why we couldn't have it, and you know, I blame my dad for it, and yes, obviously regrets, obviously. And I didn't understand, like I said, when you're very young, like I was, I didn't understand the concept of money, and I didn't understand what poverty was, and why we couldn't afford things, and why this was happening. And obviously, every child of any generation has poverty, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, and nobody should be ashamed of being poor, because there's many bloody circumstances. But, you know, today's generation kids are fueled by social media, and there is nothing wrong with that at all, before you come at me. But it's, when it was my generation in the 80s, we get bullied offline, or physically, or mentally. Do you know what I mean? But now, today's generation, it's online, and it's harassment, and there are laws against it now, and you know, it's a lot of things, but I can't speak on that experience either, because I'm not of that generation, and I'm old and ready for the knackers yard. But anyway, I'm waffling as per, this is what your girl does. But no, like I said, I didn't have the brands, I didn't have that, and I took it out of my dad. But the older I got, I know I'm going to sound like a wizard here and going off, but the older I got, the more I was like, oh, right, okay, I understand now. And you do, as you get older, you understand shit. And when I was younger, I didn't understand it. Like I said, I didn't understand the concept of money, poverty, why I was poor, why this was happening to me. And I didn't understand it at all until I got a bit older. So like, you know, 18, 19, and I started being Miss Independent. Sorry, I'm vocal stimming. But, you know, and I will admit, before I got deeper into Buddhism, as you know, I'm a Buddhist, way of life, spiritual, blah blah, and you know, I'm not afraid to admit this. I'm not afraid to say, yes, eons ago in my 20s, I used to be very materialistic. I used to love doing this and having no care in the world for money, even though I earned it. I was very, very materialistic, and I think that came off of not having anything as a child. And obviously, because my mum used to buy my love, that was a trauma thing for me. That's why I couldn't accept gifts of people. You know, it's taken me years to, you know, accept gifts of people, because obviously I had an ex as well who used to throw it back in my face, okay, if you don't do this. So that was an added trauma, but that's about that. But yeah, I used to be a materialistic person. I used to go, yeah, brands, and all that lot, because I was feeding my inner child, and I was going, yay, now my younger self can help herself to anything she wants. So yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I used to be materialistic, but the deeper I got into Buddhism, the deeper I started to understand life and the concept of money. And obviously when you're independent, you're your own flat, and it's like, welcome to adult life. It's a bit of a shit show sometimes, because you've got to pay your own bills, you've got to keep a roof over your head, you've got to be, you know, semi, you know, responsible. And having the ADHD, not as an excuse, I used to be very impulsive, obviously when I was undiagnosed, and I used to spend, and I can understand it, because obviously I was dopamine chasing as well. So me spending like, yeah, 5 minutes and then it'd go, and that's part of the ADHD. But obviously getting ADHD medication has curbed it a lot. I'm not saying it's a cure, I'm not saying, yes, Carrie, you're a wizard. But no, it hasn't. It's curbed my spending, and nowadays I'd rather spend my money on getting some wee nuttios and filming, or going to Everton Park and feeding some squirrels, and that for me is money well spent. Sometimes I like a little hot chocolate or a double espresso somewhere, and that is me. And that is fulfilling for me as a Buddhist. As much as I do treat myself to a few things, I don't go mad these days, and I try and support small businesses like Sing Long or whatever, and that's my fulfilment in life, as boring as shite as it sounds, but yeah. But anyway, I'm going off track as per, because this is what I do. Like I said, the deeper I got into Buddhism, the more I started to learn a lot of things, and it started to come to me around 25 years of age of actually, you know what? Yes, I didn't have anything as a child, but I did have things that made me the person that I am today after a lot of thinking and going, oh, hang on. Because, yes, I didn't have anything, and I was in poverty, and I grew up poor, but I did have a parent that loved me. I had a roof over my head. I had a house. I had food in my belly, water, and I had a bed to sleep in at night, and that is worth more than anything else infinity, because there's most kids that don't have that don't have a roof over their head, that have come from very bad backgrounds or been in care or whatever, and that's how I started to see it. Because I didn't have Reebok trainers or Nike trainers, but I did have a bloody roof over my head. I did get fed and watered. I was clothed, my dad did all that, and when he was on benefit for so many years, my dad did 3 bloody jobs. 3! And, he also did this while he beat bloody stomach cats twice. I mean, like, bloody hell, are you Superman? And, he's the one that taught me to cook as well. So if you wonder where all my lovely meals are coming from and who taught me these, it was like my dad, because my dad was a chef. But obviously, having the autistic brain that I do, I used to watch Gordon Ramsay, and I could memorise recipes off the telly and things like that. And then it's like my things with Asian cooking. My Japanese friend, his gran gives me recipes, and I've entwined myself into the Asian culture of cooking. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I do like to do different culture meals and try and go, okay. Because having half it, I like to try it at my own pace and at my own time. Obviously, I lived in that generation as well, where give what you're given or take it or leave it. And I think that's where my half had started to form. But no, it's not my dad's fault, and no one's to blame as per. So get that out your wee noggin. I don't own a telly. I haven't owned a telly since 2018, and that's my own personal choice. Quite happy with music. Music is my therapy. It's like I don't really celebrate like birthdays. I don't do Christmas. I don't really do Easter. I mean, as you know, the only days I celebrate is St. Patrick's Day and Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, because of my friend Kai. But no, I don't. It's, for me, when I don't want to come off as an a-hole, and if I do, I apologise right now, but please don't not come at me. There's this thing on Facebook, right? And I get it. You've got young kids and everyone's excited, it's Christmas. And that's grand. That is grand. I mean, childhoods are only once, right? And I'm all happy. But then there's this conception of I have to take photos of these massive piles of Christmas presents that I got and put it on Facebook. And I keep seeing these every Christmas, right? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it at all. But the thing that pees me off is like, that's the materialism of some people. I know you want to give your children a great childhood, and that's great, but maybe because I'm from a different generation, maybe I don't know. I'm being a soundboard. I don't know. But I'm just being honest. I'm just being... I hate it because, you know, that child will think all these presents, and when it gets to later life like me and I'll get, it's going to think everything's on the plate for that said child. And when I was younger, here we go again, Kara, I had about 4 presents by the Christmas tree. In this stocking, our Santa stocking, we used to get nuts and oranges and fruit, and we'd all have to come downstairs and we'd all have a certain time to open our presents, and we'd watch a few movies. Dad would be in the kitchen cooking the Christmas dinner, and we'd all eat at the same time around the table, and we'd open one present at a time, and then Dad would make dessert, and that would be it. And then we'd either spend time with our friends or whatever, and that was it. But today's generations, it's like, let's pile the tree up, let's do this, and some of them turn into sport little Egypts, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say that, but they do. It's like, kids nowadays have an iPad. When I was younger, I didn't even I had a teapot house, but, you know, that's my humour. I had this yellow teapot house, that was like phenomenal. Who needs an iPad when you got a teapot house? I mean, are you the generation that grew up with a Motorola brick like that, and then you had the Nokia 3210s? Yeah, and you had to buy your ringtones. It's like, this is why I'm very grounded these days, and part of my Buddhism, because I don't need a brand new upgraded phone or everything. You know, I get my phones off Music Magpie. I'm quite happy buying one outright, having it second hand. Like I said, I do treat myself to something doing that and again, but not all the time. As you know, I'm immersed in my film photography and doing photography, my mobile photography, and I quite enjoy that. So it means if I treat myself to a wee little roll of film, then yeah. Oh, my friend Candy, who keeps buying me wee rolls of film. I love her, thank you, Candy. I've got plenty now. She likes to keep me stocked up. But no, that's what I love to do, because I don't shoot every day, because obviously it's fairly expensive. It's £13.50, and then you've got to buy the film, which you can get most expired, or you can get some good deals. But that's why I don't shoot every day. So budgeting Kelly over here. But you know, I just didn't want to come across an arsehole. And like I said, I apologise if I come across like that, or, you know, I don't mean to, but this is me. But am I waffling again? Yes, I'm trying to talk to you like real people, like you're here. So, you know, as much as I did grow up poor, I just want people to understand, don't be ashamed, there's nothing wrong with it. You can't change the concept all the time. You can't, you know, change what happened. And as much as, like I said, I did grow up poor, it instilled a lot in me. It gave me life skills, it gave me life values, and I did that with Buddhism and being spiritual and a way of life for nearly 18 years now. It brings a lot in perspective. Like I said, as long as you've got a roof over your head, your head warmed, whatever, that's all that matters. It's like, don't follow the next trend. Don't think you're less because you are more, my friends. It's like, if you're poor and in poverty, don't think you're any less. Don't think, oh, this is really bad. And if people ridicule you for it, tell them to feck off. And I mean that in the most polite way. You know, it's like my equipment I've got here is second hand. I've got a £5 ring light. You know, I don't care. I really do not care. I can't, you know, the world is toxic enough, and you know, if I have to brighten them with my Buddhism abundance and to take the pheromones of toxicity away, then I will, because that's how I'm proud to be me. And you know, I thank my dad for giving me the life skills that he did, even though I was an absolute C Tuesday and I took it out on him. and I apologise for that, Dad, if you're watching. But no, you know, I said my dad worked very hard, and I said he beat cancer twice, so, you know, you wonder where I get my lean, mean, fighting 5 mud machine me from, because, you know, I think when you're banging on nearly 40, which I am, you're caring. I mean, my 0S went eons ago, but I just don't care anymore. Is it like, I really don't care. Like I say, I'm here for my subscribers, my loyal peoples who, you know, you're my extended family on here. So when you do jump on board, we're like, hello, welcome to the family, because I'm Irish and we treat you like family and we love you like our own. So, you know, it's welcome here, and you're all welcome aboard on the wee shipio. But no, could I give you advice? I don't want to give people advice because that's just not my domain. But, you know, if you could take one thing from this video, that being in poverty and being poor and having the materialistics, I think, what would you choose? I know people would go, oh, if I won the lottery. Yeah, if I won the lottery, it would change my life, but it wouldn't change me as a person, you know, because of vultures. It's like, if I won the lottery, oh my God, people would come out and go, oh, Kerry, yeah, off you, egg. No, like I say, for me, being a content creator, and if I made it on here one day, I don't know, I'm optimistic. I do not want to be pessimistic, but it would change my life, and your girlie would be self-employed, doing what she loves, which is this, doing vlogs, shorts and everything in between. And it means I can do what I want, I can wake up when I want, and, you know, I can make content and hopefully travel more, and that's my goal. But it wouldn't change me. And I know most YouTubers, it does change and they turn into materialistic, but I'm not here for likes or going viral or doing the next trend, like, you know, like the Dubai bollocks of pistachio chocolate and go and find, you know, it's like, no thanks, I can't bother. You know, the things that just go viral and trend because you have to keep on without group. No, I'm very different that way. It's like, I'm going to do something different, and this is why my channel is the way it is, because I am different in many magical neurodivergent ways, as much as I'm blunt as a brick. But, you know, my daddy-os fought in the army, and he brought up 3 kids, and, you know, he fought cancer twice. And at the end of the day, I had a loving father, as much as I was in poverty. And like I said, I was fed and watered, and that's all I needed. And young Kerry, young Kerry, didn't understand that. And she didn't get the concept of life, of being in poverty until she was 25. And that is a lesson I learned. And, you know, like my nan says, the inspiration of the Lorcan clan is, you know, yes, if you've got money, spend it, make memories, do things like, i.e. make dates I go on, you know, the small things, the little things, the memories, you know, because you can't take it with me. You can have all this materialism and all these cool things, but when you die, you can't take it with you. What are you going to do with everything and all your assets? You know, what is that going to do for you? You know, it's, maybe that's the Buddhism in me. Maybe it's just both of me being brutally honest. But I live by that, and you know, for me, odd day trips, going to London, that's fine. I enjoy that. You know, I don't need no 5-star resort. Oh, I'm going to Greece or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've travelled here and there many eons ago to many different countries, and it was grand, even though I was an alcoholic at the time. But, you know, going back home to Belfast though, that for me is better than anything else because I get to see family, and I get to be back home, and I get to drink a wee Guinness 0.0 in my favourite pub, Kelly Cellars, and I get to mingle with my peoples back home in Belfast, and that for me is worth more than anything else in this lifetime. Infinite. But no, I think I'm going to leave this here, but I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching if you stayed and watched. I love you lot. Waffled enough, so don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below, and I will see you for the next one. Love you!